everyone, my name is ADC Art Attack. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a video that has been highly requested for some time, and I've noticed this on many other YouTubers' videos too, how to draw Dragon Ball eyes, Dragon Ball Characters eyes. So I've done some grids here and we're going to go through various different facial expressions. Right here we're going to focus on Goku's template, which is basically the same for most characters. There's no real differences to speak of, but I will, if I need to get into those, get into them as I go along. So I'm going to start down the bottom here. Now I may smudge some of this because I'm going to be leaning across, but just bear with me. So what I've done here is some very basic templates, not incredibly accurate, but they're as accurate as they need to be for this tutorial. And there's some key points I need you to take note of. So if you want to do the eyes last, usually I suggest doing the eyes first because it's one of my weaker points. If it's your weaker point too, you might want to suggest doing the eyes first. It's better to build upon your flaws than it is to implement your flaws into perfection. So if you get a good image going on, I mean, that's a pretty good template there. It's pretty hard to put the eyes in there if it's your flaw, but I digress. So I've done this little template anyway, and I like to put these little lines here just where the base hairline of the sideburn would join up with the cheek. And I put these here as little guides for me. And yeah, so right here, you want to sort of make note of where the earlobe, the top of the earlobe is, and make little points along them. This will help you because this, when you're doing a front facial expression, which usually is the difficult one for people, that's where the eye will usually line up. The nose, generic, this is taken from a Dragon Ball Super, so we've just got the Dragon Ball Super reference right now. But yeah, so let's get into this. I'm going to start down here with the typical Goku look, just a little smile, not so much a smirk, but it's more of a smile type thing. Okay, so I've got a center line here because that's going to give me some pretty good references for when I do this. And yeah, so let's sort of look at what we've got going on here. So we know where the outside of this nose is here. Come a little bit off center. So we can go up and we know this is a good place for the eyebrow to be, and we want to match that on the other side. Okay, so we've got these two right here. Now these 2 points are very important, so make sure you get those done right. And now if you want to draw a sort of straight line going across here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ruler. I would do this freehand usually, but I want to keep this quite clean for the video's sake. So let's just draw a dotted line. I don't want it to be something too harsh, just something that you guys can follow along with. Okay, so we've got that there. Now let's do another one just above. So we want to go not too high, let's say about here, just slightly above where this point is, because of we want a sort of simple Goku look, because he is quite simple, isn't he? So we just want a simple one, so we know that's where the eyebrows are going to stop. Okay, so let's do this. Let's sort of drop this down now, because we know this point is where the eyebrow starts. So let's figure out a distance, a good distance anyway. And a good distance is usually where the jaw sort of just starts to turn in. That's a good place to start with the corner of the eye. And what we'll do is we'll just sort of follow the direction of the cheek. And this pretty much works with every character. You follow the direction of the cheek pretty much all the time. And once we get to about just between the top of the ear, sort of where it joins with the cheek, and this little inside of the ear. Maybe I should zoom in. Maybe this will help you out a little bit more. Let's get a little zoom going on here. And there you go. Okay, so once we get to here, this is where we want to stop, or we can, depending on the expression we're going to do, we can sort of bring it inwards a little bit. So I'm going to bring them in just a little tiny bit there. Now let's go over to the other side, and we're going to mimic that. So we want to go up to about here, and let's move up there. Once we get up to this point, let's turn inwards. Now usually the eyes aren't always symmetrical because the expression might change a little bit, but once we start messing around with the eyebrow shape, we change the expression of the character. So yeah, we got the eyes matching right here. So now it's pretty much easy for us to fill out the eyebrows, because the eyebrow will literally meet just sort of in line with this. So we'll go up first and then we come down. And now we know where our point is. We know that we want to get to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come right the way down and go just to that point there. Now that we've got it on the other side, we can match that. We need to go straight to this one here. Now you can try this over and over again, because I'm not expecting you to get it right first time, and no one is. But there you go, we've got a pretty good line, and we can do the same thing over here. We can dip it down. We're not going to worry about the hair too much, because that's for another video. So yeah, now we sort of got that. We can bring our eyebrows up here a little bit, and the same on this side. We can bring it up just a little bit to there. Now in Dragon Ball Z, you would have a crease in the middle of the eye. In Super, we don't really get that, but I'll put that in at the end for anyone who needs it. But for now, anyway, let's get on with this. So what I like to do when I do the top of the eyebrow is I like to imagine it goes natural curve right the way around to the top of the ear. So we go where the top of the ear is and we come round, and now we know that there's a nice natural curve there, and we get a bit narrow. And it comes down. And there it is. It looks good like that, doesn't it? So now we can just sort of go up here. Ignoring this line, you can touch this line as much as you want, this long one here, because that's just a reference point for us. And again, we'll do the same over here. So we know that there's a nice natural curve that comes around, and it just flows beautifully. And look at that. There you go. So now we've got the eyebrows done. And all we want to do here, and I know the expression looks a little bit high for you guys, that's because of my camera angle. Can't really change it from where I am. I hope that's okay. But now what we want to do is we want to drop them a little bit, because these eyes, they start to come along the line and then they drop down very slightly towards here, and they start to sort of just come right across the top of the nose, just a little bit above it. So there you go. We know that that's going to go there. Same again on this side. We follow it and then we just sort of go into this little arch, and there you go. So now we've got these matching eyes. Now the pupils, these are the hard bits for most people. So yeah, what you firstly need to do is figure out, how do you usually draw? What's your most comfortable way of drawing? When you draw, do you start from the left side or do you start from the right side? If you typically start from the left side when you do all of the characters, it doesn't matter what the feature is, whether it's a hand, whether it's a face, I always start with the left hand side, so that's my comfort zone. So it makes sense to start with the left pupil. So again, start with the left pupil. So we want to figure out a good distance. We don't want to go right the way into the center because it looks a bit weird, sort of goldfish eyes, but we don't want to come too far in because then it gets cross-eyed. So what we want is a sort of, let's just mark off right here where the inside of the eye is, because that comes just sort of inside there, but we won't draw the line because you don't have that in Dragon Ball Super. And then we just want to come a little bit off there. So now we know that we need to come somewhere around here and do a nice circle. Now again, don't worry if you don't get this right first time, because it takes time, and that's the thing. You can't expect yourself to be doing this right every single time or perfect every time. Try and try again and just keep going. But see, look, now that I'm starting with that side, I can see clearly where I need to be. Which side do I need to go from? Which side do I need to start on? And now we've sort of got a good reference here. Okay, now let's shade it in a little bit, just to see, give it a little bit more depth, just so we can see what we're working with. And it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so let's start filling out some more features. So the nose looks a bit big. We can change that at any point. This is more for the eyes. But what you want to do now is start thinking of these little squints under the eyes and match them to the expression you want. So do I want a high expression where he's sort of giving a bit of a smirk? Yes, I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve it a little bit, because when I come down here for the smile and I include this, what I want to do is just raise his lip a little bit. So I want to just go up here and give him a little bit of a smirk. And over here, don't forget this side. It's good to give it a little tiny one, but don't over exaggerate that side. So we just want to give it a little bit, and then again, just fill out this little bit down here. It doesn't matter too much. And again, same on the other side. Now I should have started with this side, admittedly, but hey, when you're doing a tutorial, it's easy to get lost in what you're doing. And we don't need it doing the exact same thing, so we can sort of drop this one down a little bit. Doesn't need to be going up, following the face. And yeah, there you go. We sort of got one of the expressions done. You can start adding in the hair, and once you start adding in the hair, you sort of start to bring the character a bit more to life and make him start looking a bit more sensible, and yeah, start to, yeah, as I say, just bring him to life a bit more. So there's our basic Goku. Let's move on to the next ones, and I'm just going to run through these now very quickly in a time skip, and we'll come back at the end and we'll assess what we've got, and we'll see sort of, yeah, what you guys think of them, and hopefully they come out well, because I'm doing these first try without erasing. So let's yeah, let's see if these look good at the end. Alright guys, see you at the end of this video. videos done, I just want to go into a couple of things because I'm aware there are a couple of mistakes here, and you know, the drawings aren't perfect. They're not supposed to be perfect. This is more for the eyes and for you to get grips on the what it takes to really do the eyes, the foundations of them, and I hope that came across in the video. So yeah, you'll notice with the Super Saiyan gods, I'm just going to point out a few of the things that I think you should know. With the Super Saiyan god, that was the only one that didn't follow the cheek structure of the face when it comes to the size of the eyes. It still followed the basic principles and you know, with the eyebrows and things, but you can raise the eyebrows and lower the eyebrows, but ultimately the last curve of the eyebrow tends to go across the top of the ear. The mouth is a little big, yeah I know, the jawline's a little wide, but yeah, so that's that. Obviously the facial structure of Super Saiyan God does change as well, so keep that in mind when you do it. I was just keeping a basic template for each one. Now with the serious Super Saiyan face, so the serious one, I guess, is just a basic. I sort of added a little bit of a curve at the bottom of the eyebrow and sort of let it flow to the top, so you can see there is a curve that goes in and out from the bottom and to the top, so keep that in mind when you're doing that. Also the lower eyes, you can see have a bit more of an arch as well, a little bit more than the base Goku and a little bit more than the angry Super Saiyan. So yeah, keep those points in mind, and feel free to add some expressions to the nose and a little bit of details on the nose. Now with the angry Super Saiyan, you want to add very many details to the nose, to the upper nose. You want to add some creases, really scrunch everything up in the middle and lower it as well. You want to sort of bring it down a little bit, bring the illusion that it's coming down anyway. So as you can see here, it's not really any lower than the others. They're pretty much all in line with each other, the eyes, but there's an illusion that the face is lower. And the way that's achieved is by a combination of both shortening the nose, as you can see I've done there, and also making the mouth larger, and obviously with the eyes. Now I made them a bit sharper, a bit straighter, a little less curved, because the curve adds more innocence to a character. As you can see, the curve sort of progresses from the Super Saiyan God to the serious to the angry. It lessens the curve. So the eyebrows are pretty straight there. I added some Super Saiyan, I added some Dragon Ball Z elements as well with the creases of the eyes. And yeah, so the mouth, everything, I just added some battle damage, why not? And now with the relaxed Goku, well, we already went over that. So yeah, I did break my rule a couple of times, you know, drawing from the right to the left rather than doing what I should have been doing from the left to the right, which would have ensured these eyes were perfect. Alas, I digress, it's a habit, sometimes I mess up. But guys, if you did enjoy this video and if you did learn something, I really hope you did, please do leave me a like, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe. Guys, until the next video, take care.